Let us continue.
No sleeping, soldier. No sleeping now. I did find you after all. Don't know how. Stay with me, Artyom.
Wake up, please.
Oh man, this is fucked.
You're alive, alive. I thought I was all alone again. Get up, quick. He's asleep. Better leave them be when they get like this. It's just a straight drive from now on. He tried to teach me to drive, but he just not like this.
Oh, why do I feel like Miller's fucking dead, dude? The way he moved, Miller's not asleep. Miller is probably dead.
Can you drive? Hooray! We're moving again. He found the map! Said that was a true hero, and that he saved us all.
Dad's dead. Miller's probably dead.
On the way back, we got jumped by mutants. But then he shot them all. Bam! Right between the eyes. Then we got to the river, through these worms, and deep water, so he carried me on the shoulders.
Yeah, Miller gave me his shot, so he's probably
So many cars.
conked the bucket to radiation poisoning.
It's the moon. So beautiful. So many new things. And carriages too. Everything's blocked. Hey, wake up. Please, don't fall asleep.
Okay, well, we definitely didn't make it back to the train. We're at the tracks. Miller is definitely dead. What is this little kid doing running around? Isn't it supposed to be like deadly radiation outside? No. I mean, we drove, but I don't think we drove far enough away to where there wouldn't be radiation. That is a big ass snowplow. Really weird scene. Everyone just slow-mo running at you.
Careful. I don't get how he's even alive. Artyom, can you hear me?
Careful, everyone. He got irradiated badly. And I couldn't even get a reading on the Colonel's body. The counter goes off the scale.
Hold on, Artyom. We'll fix you just fine.
How could this happen?
Focus, Katya! What do we do? Tell us!
An emergency transfusion. We must give him as much blood as we can.
Transfusion it is then. Will it save him?
It will keep him alive for a little longer. As long as there's blood.
What's his blood type?
AB positive. We could give him any type. Get everyone here.
Don't go to sleep, Artyom. You can't go to sleep now.
What the hell?
Hello there, Artyom. How about we take a walk? Staying underground grew old.
Artyom's little kid?
That's it, Stepan. You can't give more.
Look! He's up! Can you hear me, Artyom? Don't you dare die on us. Just don't you dare. You've got a whole life ahead of you. And kids. So fight for it. Fight!
Why did you stop? Didn't you always want to go outside? Didn't you open that airlock at the Botanical Gardens? This place is much better.
This isn't your destination, Artyom. You're not there yet, not even close. It's not your station, it's just a dead end. Not your goal. Can you hear me? Give me your hand. Oh, you're burning up. Well, I hope this old man's blood will do something about that hot head of yours, eh?
Come on, let's go.
Okay, my friend. Time to get some quality blood in that body of yours, huh? With this, you'll be up in no time. Or I'll eat my own shoes, huh? Yeah.
You know, I finally feel like I belong somewhere. I am no longer an outsider. You keep us together, Artyom. You must survive, for all of our sakes.
Let's go to the summit.
Hear me, Artyom. You've got a wife you need to work on making kids with. And my fiancé is still in Moscow. We still have to stir some shit up back in the metro, so don't you fucking dare die here.
Look, Artyom. Lake Baikal. Makes you believe real life is possible. Not the petty rat race we had back in the metro. I just have to say, you were right, Artyom. Right for wanting to get us out, bring us here. And I, the old fool, I was simply afraid. Afraid of life, as I see now.
Look, he's smiling. Smiling in his sleep. He even seems to say something.
It's his fever talking. He's burning up.
This world is worth giving everything up for, Artyom. You were always ready, and I was too attached to my position in the rat race. I'm sorry. Sorry for what happened to Anna. Sorry for blaming you. Had I not pumped everyone up about the occupying forces, she'd never have fallen there.
Artyom, I beg you, don't die. Stay with me, please. I don't want a life if you're not a part of it. Can you hear me? Look at me, Artyom. Look at me, please.
Yes, about Anna. You will have to look out for her, now that I can't anymore. I don't care if you go to that ocean. Just stay with her.
I'm keeping her out. She can barely stand herself, but she's ready to give all her blood to him. At least the medicine helped. It's a miracle.
I have a daughter, but I also wanted a son. A really stubborn one, just like me. Like you. I really like this place. It's so clean. I'd like to stay here forever. Could you arrange that for me? And the most important thing, my time's up, Artyom. It's your turn now. Step up, lead them. Just remember that I created the Order to save people. All people, Artyom. Don't forget that. Because I somehow did. Goodbye, Commander. Time to wake up. Come on. Rise and shine, son.
The fever is subsiding. I think he's getting better. Now he needs some rest. You too, Anna. We've got hope now.
We found the place I saw in my dream. That hill on the shores of Baikal where Miller took me. A clean place, just like he said. Everything around is clean. We found ourselves a home. A home at the foot of a hill, overlooking a lake. A home where we could raise our children, who will be born not in the damp and dark tunnels, but under blue sky and bright sun.
Ladies and gentlemen, as the ranking officer, I propose a motion to entrust the duty of commanding the Order to Artyom. Unanimously approved. So, what would your orders be, sir?
I would say we all go home. But this home seems too large for just us. You know, The Colonel once told me he created the Order to save people. All of them. I say it's time we perform this duty.
And that's it. Ooh. So, let's do a review. As standard, 4 credit rolls for me. So there were a lot of things I liked about this game, but a lot of things that I also felt could have been a lot better. You know, the game, it looks good, it plays good, but gameplay-wise, there were little things here and there that just seemed kind of like they didn't work. And I think that's because they tried to put the game into an open-world setting. From a gameplay standpoint, you know, there were areas that I figured I could clamber or climb up that I just simply couldn't. There are areas where I get stuck trying to jump even though it looked like I should have been able to get up. And I didn't really run into those issues in either 2033 or Last Night, which were obviously a lot more linear. So to be fair, I think it was a good attempt at trying to make Metro more open world-ish, but I think it could have been better. From a story perspective, it wasn't a bad story, you know, like them trying to seek and find a place outside of the Metro. I kind of like that. I am curious what the bad endings would have been. I'm guessing Anna probably dies. I'll look that up on my phone while the credits are rolling here. Metro Exodus. But all in all, the story wasn't too bad. One thing that I do like is that, you know, we didn't get bogged down with a bunch of side quest bullshit. Like, a lot of the time, the side quests, aside from the very start, where we had to go, like, hunt down the guitar and hunt down the teddy bear, the side quests seemed to flow pretty organically after the fact. Like, you know, we had the one where she was like, hey, release these slaves, and we had already done that. One girl asked us, hey, don't kill the pirates, sneak past them. So, yeah, you know, whatever. That was easy enough to do. And it wasn't bogged down. Let's see. There's something about explains the multiple endings. Trying to find the actual endings here to discuss, because I want to see what happens. No, this is nothing, man. What the fuck? Here we go. All endings explained. This is what I need. So yeah, we had what I'm assuming is the good ending here. Good. I'm trying to scroll through. Good ending. Harder to get. You need to act in a certain way. Similar to the bad one. Seeing Miller dieting, waiting for the aura. Artyom given blood transfusion, but Artyom does not die. Instead, he takes over as leader of the crew. Okay, so I got the good ending. Let's see, bad ending. The bad ending is the one you're most likely to see, as you need to follow certain steps. Katya and some of the crew start organizing to give him blood. As they do, he drifts in and out, lying down in the metro. Then after speaking, he sees a train rushing towards him. Blah, blah, blah. This is where it truly differs. Artyom wakes up in a train carriage, but it's different, and a guy called Eugene opens the door. Anyone with a good memory of the previous games will know what happens now. Artyom wanders through the train that is trashed and covered in blood, ending up at the front of the train where it's being filled with skulls. Miller then walks in and it becomes clear he's died. Blah, blah, blah. Scene fades. Yeah, so I managed to pull off the good ending, which is nice to see. Bad ending sounds like it was a little bit trippy. But anyway, back on focus to the review. I didn't necessarily think it was bad. You know, the search, like, looking for a place to stay, it gave them a decent amount of different zones. We had a desert zone, we had a forest zone, we had a wintry zone, you know, kind of a staple of open world zone separated games like this. So all in all, I think for it being their first try, they did a pretty good job. But one thing I think that takes away from it is when you take a game like Metro, which is, I think its strongest point is its atmosphere. You know, no one comes to Metro for the gunplay of it. No one comes to Metro because they're expecting a phenomenal story, you know? I mean, the story's good, don't get me wrong, but I'm not like, yo, this is the story I've been waiting for. I think the reason I play Metro and it's so enjoyable is the atmosphere, and I feel like you lose a part of that atmosphere when you take the game from being linear and transition it to open world. And a good example I want to provide of this is back way towards the start. There was one point where I had to cross the river early on. I went to cross the river and ended up getting swarmed by the crab people, died. Like, died almost instantly, and was like, shit, that's not gonna work. Like, you know, I need to figure something out. Ended up reloading the save, and instead I just, like, ran off to the right, hopped onto a thing, and ran across the water, and that was it. No encounter, no nothing. And so you have this really big discrepancy, which on one hand you could say, you know, each person will have a different experience as they go through, and that's fine and dandy, but at the same time, if you're trying to craft a certain narrative, if you're trying to give a specific experience to a player, an open world, when you're trying to tell a story, they don't mesh together like that. You know, Skyrim can be played 1,000 different ways, and a player could have 1,000 different experiences, but no one's going to Skyrim and being like, man, that was the experience I remember. Like, yeah, it's a fun game, but like, I distinctly remember a ton of shit about 2033 and Last Light and being like, those were intense ass moments. The time you fell down and had to fight the bear in the pit, going through the library and having all those watchers looking at you, going through the tunnels. Like, there was so much that I'm like, wow, that really stands out in memory. And this time around, the open world areas didn't stand out at all to me. I felt like, okay, well, I guess I gotta go over here. There's a thing here, let me go look for it. I'll find some shit to loot, a couple people to kill, bang, bang, boom, on my way. And we just kind of continued through it. So, kind of mixed feelings about that. One thing I didn't like is, I feel like Artyom didn't have to be a silent protagonist. I mean, they broke the wall a couple times being like, oh, you know Artyom, he never talks, ha ha ha. And like, it's funny and all, but I feel like during the scripted cutscenes where people are talking, you could have had some dialogue there. Instead of him just, you know, talking during the load screen and end screen. Like, if you're gonna make the project on a higher scale, why not add a little bit of dialogue here and there for the guy? Especially because they have a voice actor for him. It's not like he's a voiceless protagonist, you know? He has a voice, and we hear that voice. So I feel like they could have done something more with it this time. You know, if you're trying to expand the game and make it that much bigger, make it that much bigger. Add features wherever you can. The ending, all in all, wasn't bad, but honestly, leading up to the ending was kind of disappointing. You know, I remember the Watchers being super fucking intense, like trying to sneak past those guys. I was on the edge of my seat. I remember back in, I think it was 2033, when I was going through all that shit, trying to climb the tower, and I had the demons coming after me, and then we had the trippy shit with the dark ones. That shit was intense, man. I feel like I died a bajillion times trying to get through it. The train fight in Last Light, where, you know, all the gun blazes were going on. I wasn't a giant fan of it, but once again, super intense moment. And then this time around with the Yetis, I mean, the one moment that I'd say was actually, like, it had me going for a little bit was after I turned on the power and then I jumped down and ran. Because when I jumped, they were both like, let's get him, and I was like, oh shit! Like, there was definitely some tense moments there. But overall, especially after I took out the first one, and I'm like, okay, I could kill these guys. You know, looks like they go for sound. I don't know. I don't feel like it had the same level of intensity as the other Metros. Characters were good. You know, character design was fine. I will say I don't like how doting Anna became this time around. You know, I very much liked badass Anna, and apparently in this game Artyom has just placated her with some good Russian wiener, and all she wants to do now is pop out babies and be a mother. You know, it was just, it's a really sharp contrast from the Anna that we know from the last game, and I don't think I liked it. I mean, I think she could have still been a badass, but 90% of the time it was her just wanting to hold hands and telling Artyom how much she loves him and wanting to cuddle and hang out, and it just, I don't know, I feel like it didn't fit her character at all, really. All in all, it was still a good time. I had fun playing it, but if you were to say, what did you enjoy more, Exodus or, you know, Last Light or 2033, I would probably give it to the older Metros. I mean, this was good, but I don't think it was as good as it could have been, and I think the other Metros really exemplified kind of the atmosphere that I want out of a Metro game a lot more. So, all in all, I think I'd put this at probably like a 7 out of 10, maybe 7.5. I mean, there's a lot of things they did well. You know, graphically the game was beautiful. There's no denying that. But a lot of the time, because of the style of the open world and the freedom and how you could approach it, I felt like I was just going through motions, you know? Especially in like the forest, for example. I was just like, okay, knock this guy out, knock this guy out, knock this guy out. Okay, it looks like my compass says to go this way. Let's slide over there. Hey, here's a new thing that happens. Hey, here's a bear. Let's bamboozle this. Where am I going next? Okay, go down onto the dock and steal a boat. Okay, here we go. Knock out, knock out, knock out. Flip the power switch, get the boat. Different area. Knock out, knock out, knock out. Flip the power switch, go through the door. You know, it just... I feel like there was so much more that they could have done. Ultimately, I think that's what leaves me a little upset with it. But still, I do think it was a decent game. I think it's definitely worth playing if you're a fan of the Metro series. If you've never played a Metro game before, I definitely don't think this is the place to start. I would definitely say, you know, like I said, 2033 and Last Night, I think offer a better Metro experience overall. But this certainly wasn't a pile of crap. So, either way, that is going to wrap things up, it looks like. Let me skip this, see if we have any cutscene or anything. Anything else, any post-credit. Maybe our tomb with a little baby. Nope, just straight back to the launch screen. So either way, guys, gonna close out the chapter on this. I don't know if we're gonna get another Metro game, but based on that ending, I'm gonna go with a no, probably not. Because with the good ending, we all live happily ever after, and with the bad ending, our tomb is dead. So I would say they're probably gonna wrap this one up as a trilogy. But it was definitely a fun journey, and hopefully you guys enjoyed taking it with me. So as for what we have up next week, we got Devil May Cry. So, definitely, I'm going to try to be good at it. From what I played of the demo, I think I'll do okay, but don't expect me to be pulling off constant triple S combos all the time, because I'm pretty good at Devil May Cry, but I'm not like that good at Devil May Cry. I think I'm like an A to B player at best. But either way, Devil May Cry games are always a lot of fun. And then, of course, once Devil May Cry wraps up and we get towards the end of the month, we have Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, which... ideally, I want to get pretty much every game I have on my plate cleared off before Sekiro releases, because that game is getting a Let's Play and a walkthrough and probably a buttload of stuff done on stream, because I am ready. So, either way, closing this one on out. Thanks again for all the support. There's a lot of people you can choose to watch Metro from, and at the end of the day, I am very appreciative that you decided to join me, Russian Cowboy, on this adventure. So thank you very much as always, and I will see you all next time.